What is up, guys? You're tuning in to Nikki MGTV for another military video for all your military video needs. As always, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below. And as always, we have a live stream every Friday, 7 p.m. California time, where I answer your questions live. And we have a Patreon link down below where you can donate as little as $1 and help the channel grow. We appreciate it. Thank you. So I will tell you guys this. I know you clicked on this because you are curious about battle stations, but this video will not include any evolutions, anything like that. I did sign a piece of paper, as many people that have also gone through this evolution. You're not going to talk about it in regards to like what consists of battle stations. So not going to mention anything. Honestly, I forget a lot of it. I'm kind of like a big blur, I'll be honest, because the fact that like I was super tired. But I do have some tips, and I do have some kind of knowledge I can pass on to you guys. So what is battle stations? Battle stations is the final evolution of Bootcamp. This is the barrier between whether you're going to be a sailor or not a sailor. This is life or death. This is your final breath. This is your one shot. Vomit on her sweater already. This is too dramatic. No, but for real, this is the final straw. This is what is going to determine if you are going to be a sailor or not. This is showing your transition from a civilian with no military knowledge, background, training, anything, to a basic functioning member of the Navy, where you have been able to prove yourself over the past 8 weeks to make yourself eligible to earn the title as a sailor. So a lot of people that are joining the Navy probably haven't even heard about this or known what it is. But there's a couple of videos where it does kind of discuss it and the technology that went behind it. So this was actually created with Disney, where they created a simulated ship to make it as real as possible for us to go through training. I can attest that this ship is pretty well done. Like when I was done, I could tell you that Disney had a role in this, because just the scale of how everything was, you're just like, this is just pretty good for what it was. And I've been noticing that training in the military since I've been in just keeps getting better and better and better, or at least that's how I feel. Like every time I go through something, I just feel that we have like gone above and beyond what has been before us, you know? So I do promise that this is some really good training. This is something that you guys should be very excited about and not very scared of. Let's go into some stuff that you guys can actually prepare for before you actually go through this big night. So this is an evolution where you're going to be up for several days on this point. Pretty much you're going to be up the day before, that whole night, and then the next day after battle station. So be ready for that. There's definitely some things that you should know about even before you are going to battle stations, what to expect. First thing I want to say is that the night before, you're probably going to be sleep deprived in one way, shape, or form, and that's because you still got to stay and watch that night before, and you still have to iron. So those 8 hours of sleep that you could have had are now definitely shrunken down, and that's if you sleep exactly on the dot from when you're put down to bed until you are up the next day. Now, the other thing is, going into battle stations or any evolution where you have to put your body under extreme stress, there are a couple of things that you're going to need to do. And you're going to hear this all the time in boot camp, but drink water. Honestly, water will keep you alert, hydrated, and it's one less thing that you are going to have to think about. The next thing is eating a decent meal. This is important because a lot of times people are going through stuff. You need nutrition. Like, you need to fulfill your body's need to survive. And a lot of people forget that. I've dealt with recruits in the Marine Corps side that they just didn't eat that well, or they didn't prepare for that. So you definitely need to make sure you're eating, and you're eating good stuff, not like Reese's and stuff the night before. Eat like a solid meal, something that, you know, if you want to look at the food pyramid or now the plate that they go by, and have something decent, which the food is pretty good in boot camp, definitely make sure that you guys are eating right. Is you're not only going to be sleep deprived, you're probably going to be sick because everyone's touching on their face and touching everything in boot camp, so you guys end up sick anyway. And I can personally say I went through that experience going through battle stations where I was sick, and that made it a little bit worse. Now, to talk about battle stations itself, pretty much the hardest part, I would say, of this entire evolution, which is not talking about evolution, but it's very true for anyone that's gone through, I'm still keeping my secrecy, is the fact that I want you guys to realize staying up is probably the hardest part, and being able to endure and push your body through this evolution. The sleep deprivation is going to be the number one pretty much issue you're going to have during this evolution as far as that goes. As I said before, I can't talk about any evolutions with battle stations, and I want that secrecy to be maintained. So I want to tell you this, is I'm not going to tell you, but I can tell you this, out of my experience from any military training, is we will always prepare you for success no matter what. We always give you the information, the resources, the time to study, the time to really prepare and get yourself there mentally. It's just, are you going to put the effort or the time into getting yourself there? So when you go to battle stations, this is stuff that you are capable of doing. We know that we've trained you, and this is just putting those skills to the test. That's the whole point of any of these Final Evolutions boot camp, is to make sure that you are able to apply your skills that the Navy has taught you. And that way, I could give you guys some really at ease, is the fact that sleep is the hardest thing. You've done everything else as far as like being able to be prepared. You've made it this far to week 8. So there's really nothing you can do extra to be prepared for battle stations other than apply yourself from the day you get to boot camp, because no matter what, I would say battle stations isn't even like the real test. While yes, this is the barrier between you being a sailor or not a sailor, your test really is a day in, day out thing. And so while you may be a basic sailor after this, you may be able to perform basic seamanship skills, while I know like you guys are going to probably say, Nikki, but I'm going to be a fireman or constructionman. Well, Navy boot camp has you in a seaman like type environment, so it's focused around ships. So I know that that's probably going to be the case for you, but realize you still have to learn this stuff. But every day is going to be a challenge for you to learn something new, contribute to the team more, and you're still going to keep learning even after boot camp. So even though you are about to earn the title, so I'm telling you guys, this is a very basic level of being a sailor, pretty much. We did personally have one person fail because they fell asleep during boot camp, and he had to go, I believe the next day, don't quote me, but I believe the very next day, he had to go again, or like the day after that. I'm trying to remember, because like I said, you're very sleep deprived, so trying to remember this, but realize this, if you stay awake the first time and you go through it, you will not have to worry about doing it a second time. Most people do pass, so just want to give that full disclosure that most people are going to pass, but if you can't stay awake, you're going to have issues. The other thing is, when I was in my group, I was like a person that took charge, and I for some reason felt like the need to stand out because my peers that I was with were not people that I typically dealt with, and I didn't think that they performed as high or as well. But the RDC that was there for our area definitely saw through that and made examples out of me, because he was like, this guy is a little too confident. Really, I just wanted to make sure that we made it through, and I wanted to kind of take leadership. But I don't think that that would be a good idea on the very final evolution, when really I just had to pass this. I wasn't doing this to make E1 to E2 or E2 to E3. Just realize that biting off more responsibility can actually cause you a little bit more headache in the future, as I know you guys want to be RPOC, AROC, and all these other positions while you're in boot camp. I'll tell you this, is that from the time we started, the time we ended, I don't know where that time went. The time went very fast for me. And I've heard the same thing from various other people that have been through it. And we all kind of agree that it's a big blur. And like I said, I can't remember every evolution. I don't remember a lot about it, to be honest. But I could tell you some success stuff that worked and didn't work from people that were in my division as well. So on the way back, I just remember it was snowing, cold, and again, I'm marching while I'm sleeping, and I have no idea how I got back to the compartment at that point, but you get your first breakfast or your hot meal after that, and everyone's just exhausted. You come in, you're tired, and you can just see it. Every time you saw someone go through battle stations and come back to the galley, you just knew it was a hard day. Now, I just remember also, I don't know if this is all RDCs or if this is boot camp in general, but we were not allowed to read the Blue Jacket manual until we passed battle stations. And I just remember holding the blue book like it was, we weren't recruits anymore, we were sailors, and that was just like such a proud moment. Also, speaking of proud moments, you guys are probably going to cry when you guys put on your Navy ball cap and you're really sleep deprived, and I understand you're just super emotional. Just embrace it. I wish I enjoyed that moment a little bit more, but I think being so tired, I was just like, yeah, I'm over this. So symbolic things like from your book that you carry to the flags that are being flown when you guys are marching down to your hair. Males are going to have longer hair when they are further along in training. There's just a lot of little things that happen that symbolize where you're at in training. So it's just really proud to be able to do that. And I just remember being able to carry a book, have my long hair, or longer hair, if I could say that. Just really a lot of pride after you're finishing this evolution, because you realize there is no more training for you to do. This is like, that was the final hurdle until you are going to be at graduation, and then you go off to A school or wherever else you're going to be heading to. Now, while Battle Stations was done, it was not done for little Nikki. And I'll say that because you still have to stay up that entire next day. I'd like to help you guys out. Do not be the laundry PO. Go into the dryer room, turn on the heat for that room, sit on the floor, and then fall asleep. If you do that, you're probably going to have a bad day. I got in trouble while I was on watch the rest of the time that I was in boot camp. It was like my one major mess up. We did have, I think, a little earlier night when we went to bed. It must have been like 8 p.m. or so when we did. So I don't know if our chief was just being super nice. I don't know how that worked out. But yeah, we definitely crashed hard. I don't know if you remember my what happens after dark in boot camp video, but I mentioned that everyone wants to be awake. This is the one time where everyone kind of agrees and just passes out. And I just remember it being totally quiet when the lights went out. So while I can't disclose everything from Battle Stations, I do want to keep this secret for you guys because I feel like I prepare you guys a lot with these videos. The Navy is going to prepare you a lot. And even if you're in the Marine Corps and you're going for the Crucible or whatever evolution you're going to do, the service will train you guys and teach you guys the fundamentals to be successful. So do not worry. This should not be stressful. This should actually be a more fun evolution because everything that you've done, it led up to this point. So embrace that. And also, I believe that the tests that you see where people don't tell you or you're finding out things that you're not expecting, you're probably going to gain confidence and you're going to learn more about yourself than if someone tells you the answers all the time. So believe me, I'm here to help you, but this is one thing. Not only does it on a paper, but I want you guys to learn for yourself. So definitely take it with you, and hopefully you guys make it to this point. So as always, guys, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below. And as always, we have a live stream every Friday, 7 p.m. California time, where I answer your questions live. And as always, we have a Patreon link down below where you can donate as little as $1 and help the channel grow. We appreciate it. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.